for it at this point. I mean, we're just gonna go for it.
Is the oil price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia? Crude prices their biggest ever one-day rally after the US president raised hopes of a truce. Will Donald Trump's intervention be enough? And what's the impact of the rift between the oil superpowers? This is Inside.
Yo, welcome to Joe's Internet Show. Straight up, checking out the internet, that's what we do. But anyway, Al's here is messing up the song choice, but you know, we're just basically on the cutting edge of the AI, trying to make sure that we can get through some of the security blocks that they might be putting in our way. And I got my Reddit, I got my Facebook. I was gonna watch this war between these two robots. It was pretty crazy. They do got the headlines going on though.
Airlines grounded their planes, factories shut their doors, and countries imposed travel bans. Crude prices fell further, and Saudi Arabia and Russia couldn't agree on cutting supplies to try and force prices higher. Now, US President Donald Trump is suggesting the feud may soon end. Saudi Arabia has called for an emergency meeting of oil-producing nations, as Hamera Chowdhury reports.
Signs that an oil price war between two of the world's biggest producers may end saw the biggest one-day lead on record. And here's why.
I think that Russia and Saudi Arabia at some point are going to make a deal in the not too distant future, because it's very bad for Russia. It's very bad for Saudi Arabia. It's very bad. I mean, it's bad for both. So I think they're going to make a deal.
A deal to cut production in response to the drop in demand from the coronavirus outbreak collapsed last month. Since then, the cost of crude has fallen to lows not seen.
Gas prices low. That's, I mean, you gotta admit, gas prices are very low right now.
And ramped up production in a fight
But
for market share, just as demand.
A lot of people don't think we should be using gas, you know.
The coronavirus pandemic forced governments to impose widespread lockdowns, close factories, and restrict travel worldwide. Some experts say the United States needs the oil market to
red team
stabilize
wins
so
again.
its own shale oil industry doesn't collapse.
It is a balance that the United States would wish always to have.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows, like, overabundance of oil means lower prices, and that could be good for the average user. But, who knows? Oh, how Tom York's got a new video up. Look forward to watching that. I can't really play music videos on here, but that's alright. Let me see here. Perfecting the Osmo. I'm kind of curious as to what he's about.
Small with our Canon EOS R and work our way up.
He's working on that new Crane 3.
We gotta do that because the lens is a bit bigger than the camera itself. So here's the bottom of the when you're using this on here. Actually, it's useful when you're transporting it, so it's not flopping around all over the place. And you can also help with balance if it's in tight, and then there's a fully locked position, so it's not going anywhere. Wow,
so that thing's pretty cool.
This thing, not bad, and it already feels good. They've definitely done a good job with their algorithm lately. So out of the box, it feels very fluid. You don't really have to go in and adjust much. It actually feels real nice having overpowered motors with even a setup as small as this. Because let's say I want to leave this microphone on here. There's a lot of gimbals that can't do it, but as soon as wind starts blowing against it, I start to see the camera struggling a little bit to try to fight it.
That guy's funny. I like that dude. Definitely check him out. It's Potato Jet, if you don't know. Nice shoes. Lifting the
1 month
lockdown.
since the Prime Minister announced the lockdown, the public heard him loud and clear. Social distancing has taken hold across the country and stalled the spread of coronavirus. We are now living through the peak, and attention is turning to what comes next. Testing at the heart of it all.
We can make it easier, faster and simpler for any essential worker in England who needs a test to get a test. From today, employers of essential workers who will be able to go on gov.uk to get a test for any of their staff who need a test. And from tomorrow, any essential workers who need a test will be able to...
Alright, so they're going to be handing out tests over here. That's very nice of them.
Millions more eligible.
I'm sure everybody wants a test. Not everybody can get one.
To be hired as part of a strategy to chase down every suspected case. Mr. Hancock, first a question for you. Does a proper
Now they're trying to
scaled-up
track people down. That's
testing
kinda scary.
system have to be up and running before you're even countenance easing the lockdown? And if so, can you get that ready by May the 7th?
I wouldn't put a deadline on it in the way that you did. What I would say is that
I wouldn't put a deadline on that. Well, in the way that you did.
help to suppress the transmission in a way that allows you then
pattern as it pushes forward and the repetition continues. So yeah, the dangerous tornado storms that have been pushing across the south continue to push. And at this exact moment, we are watching tornadoes possible and tornadoes probable and tornadoes that are probably here in Florida. I just woke up because my air conditioner had been broken for 2 weeks. I alerted my management yesterday. Within a half hour they fixed it, so I stepped
Thor's so funny.
done. Slept for 11 hours. So I'm a little groggy. It seems like the world is very unstable today. So if you're in the south, please be
This was
watching out because we've had some devastatingly damaging and deadly tornadoes.
this was a minute
that
ago for
hurt
sure.
people in Texas, and
So there's probably updated news on the weather in the
Florida
U.S.
Wave Master is letting us know officially that it is cranking on the beach right now. My sister is in Florida. She's saying, yeah, it's very tornado-y down there. Everyone's
Very
safe.
tornado-y.
Here's a dramatic video out of Panama City Beach.
That's the weather. It's
Florida.
tornado-y.
Definitely some sort of funnel or tornado happening as our atmosphere is incredibly unstable right now. This is an 8-hour time lapse of the long supercell tornado storm
that's
that
super
plowed
dope.
across Texas and Louisiana and took the lives of 2 people who work for the police department. Tornadic storm headed towards Panama
Wonder what
City
else is
and
going
Callaway.
on. Let's see what Anton's been up to.
It's gonna have some
Oh no,
devastation.
let's check China
And
Uncensored.
The Pacific side of the
Love this dude.
hurricane season is about to begin, and then our hurricane season is about to begin.
Why did China lie?
More rain is on
It's
the
kind of
way.
getting more and more
And so
biased, to
Lisa
be
in
honest.
Florida, please stay safe. Prayer never, ever, ever hurts.
Choice. That's just how coronavirus. And it originally spread because the Chinese Communist Party covered it up during the very early stages.
That's what he keeps
That's why I've
saying.
been calling it the CCP virus.
It's kind of
If
racist.
the CCP had properly handled it better in the first 2 months, a lot of lives would have been saved. But the cover-up was a symptom of a much deeper problem. That is, the entire structure and MO of the Communist Party, from top to bottom, encourages this exact type of cover-up. The problem lies in the one-party system. The Chinese Communist Party tries to be all-powerful. It exercises extreme control over every aspect of its citizens' lives, from what they can see on social media to even how many children they can have. In this type of system, the party takes all the credit when things go well, but it should also bear all the blame when things go badly. With great power comes great responsibility. Except the party is the opposite of Spider-Man, because it wants to have all the power and not take any responsibility, especially when things go wrong. That's why the party is obsessed with stability. The government is constantly talking about stability maintenance, which is coded language for ensuring the party's rule. Since
Poor dear.
2011, the Chinese government's internal security budget, which is also known as their stability maintenance budget, has been larger than their military budget. So the Communist Party considers any threat to stability as a threat to their rule. You know what's a threat to stability? A deadly epidemic. So when it came down to it, the Communist Party put stability ahead of helping sick citizens. It's just what they do.
He's
For
just like,
example,
I don't know.
the
He
Chinese
just keeps
Communist
getting
Party
more and
still
more.
claims that the 2003 SARS epidemic struck suddenly.
I think it's starting to get to him. Like I think doing this show for this guy every day is starting to get to him. Where now he's like really mad at the Communist Party, Chinese Party's leadership people, and he just really wants to yell at people about
And when
it.
it started to spread to other regions of China, they covered that up too. Eventually, SARS killed just under 800 people in China. But in reality, it may have been several
It's hard to really
thousand
tell what's
more
going on in China.
because
There's
of the cover.
such a
This is Dr. Jiang Yanniu.
complex
In April
situation.
2003, he wrote a letter exposing the true number of SARS patients in Beijing, which was several times higher than the official number. His letter was publicized.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Going Out to grab essential supplies in non-panic levels. You are doing your part to scientific literature be changed or tweaked in their concentration and disinfect surfaces fast going out. SARS-CoV-2 spreads most effectively from person to person. If you touch surfaces you fear can be contaminated.
He just keeps coming out with new.
G'day folks, today we're talking mushrooms and in particular the Queensland white oyster mushrooms we're trying to grow here. We've had a bit of a failure recently, but I'll give you a bit of a look at that towards the end, a bit of a cautionary tale. But over the last week or so, Bianca and I have set up a number of fruiting bags, a little fruiting jar and a couple of spawn jars. So I thought I'd give you a quick walk through them and yeah, just show you how we created them, and then in future clips we'll show you how we're feeding them up and fruiting them and that sort of thing. So to begin with, we're using what's called the low-tech method. Basically we're not using any pasteurization to sterilise the grow medium, and we're using things like recycled paper pellets, the hardwood smoking pellets that when you hydrate turn into sawdust. We've got some sugarcane mulch downstairs that we're going to try in the future. And to sterilise them we're using calcium hydroxide. Basically what happens with that is it raises the pH and kills off any competing fungal spores and bacteria and that sort of thing, which can turn your bags pretty nasty, which you'll see in a little while. Now, I have had a couple of people say that our bags and our jars have been spoiled because they look very grey. I can assure you that's just the recycled newspaper pellets we're using. You can see loads of little white mycelia growing all through those paper pellets, so there's no issue with contamination as far as we can tell at this point in time. So without too much more rambling on, I'll give you a bit of a gander of how we made up the fruiting bags and spawn jars, and yeah, I'll come back and show you what happened with the last attempt after we're done there. So making up the fruiting bags is pretty easy. To begin with, like to clean everything down with some isopropyl alcohol, just to make sure there's no nasty bugs that are going to get in there and contaminate the bags. And then we're adding in a water to pellet ratio of 6 parts water, 4 parts pellet. So Bianca added in roughly 3.75 litres of water, and as the water was going in, I popped in roughly 3.5 teaspoons of the calcium hydroxide just to make sure we knock any of the nasties in there on the head. And then after that we dumped in 2.5 kilograms of the pellet, roughly around about 5 pounds. So that was given a good mix around, make sure all the pellets are on the water, and pop the lid on top and let it sit for 5 minutes so they can absorb all the moisture. So after about 5 minutes we're up, we checked the pellets, so a bit hard to stir in the pot itself. So I popped the lid back on, gave it a good shake, and Bianca gave a bit of a stir to break up the lumps.
Yo, what up, loud? I see.
Now with the spawn we decided to do it in batches, just to make it a little bit easier to add into the bag.
I usually never read the comments though.
Of the paper pellets we thought would fit in a Ziploc bag, and then added 10% of that weight in the spawn grain. And just quickly for you folks who have never seen the grain spawn before, it is a grain that has been pasteurized, then inoculated by some spawn. That spawn culture then feeds off the grain and creates those white hair-like mycelia that you can see moving from grain to grain. So back to the grain in the bowl, I crumbled it up nice and finely with some freshly sanitized hands of course, and tried to spread it as uniformly as I could through the paper pellets in the bowl. And from there, it was just emptied into the Ziploc bags and set to one side until all of them were full. Once the bags were full, we took a clean scalpel and cut a little gas exchange port within the plastic itself, and then covered that over with some micropore tape. And that micropore tape will allow gas to exchange from inside the bag to outside, namely carbon dioxide and oxygen, but at the same time will keep out any mold spores. From there, the bags were labelled with what variety of spawn we used and also the date. From there, the bags were placed in a cool little storage area downstairs, away from direct sunlight. In a couple of weeks' time, we'll feed them up.
Nobody's going live with their music anymore. It's like everybody kind of got over it.
I'll bring you along and give you a look at how we're feeding them up and they're fruiting once the time comes. So a couple of days
Maybe
later,
it's just
I
too
made
late.
up some sawdust spawn jars using some smoking pellets, timber pellets, as the medium. Now this time around though, we use a slightly different ratio. Some people will say 45-55, that's pellets to water. I just went with a rough 50% of each and actually added in maybe a little bit more water than 50% by weight. And again, to sterilise the medium, I added in roughly half a teaspoon of the calcium hydroxide. Now, I actually used warm water because the warm water expands the pellets a lot faster than cold water. Someone actually asked why I did that on the previous clip. It just takes forever with the cold water. So pop a tea towel over the top of that, set it to one side and let it cool down to room temperature. Now, I added in roughly around about 10% by weight of the spawn into the sawdust mix, and then broke up the grain spawn and mixed it as evenly as I could through the sawdust. The sawdust was then just added into a couple of ball mason jars, filled them up in layers and used the base of a sterilised jar just to compress the sawdust down a bit. Filled it to around about, I'd say 35mm or about 1.25 inches from the top. Drilled some holes in the lids of these guys and covered them over with some micropore tape again, just to allow for that gas exchange. Screwed the lid on and they joined the fruiting bags downstairs. And again, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll give these guys a bit of a feed with some wheat bran, and then a few more weeks down the track, we'll split them up to make 4 fruiting bags. Now, I also decided to make up a little bit of a fruiting jar, just as a bit of an experiment to see how it goes. For this one, I used a yogurt culture tub that I had drilled some holes in. I think they're roughly around about 20mm or 3/4 inch holes, 3 of them around the sides and 1 in the lid. And again, they were just covered with some micropore tape, just to allow for the gas exchange. Now, the mix for this one, we're back to the paper pellets, so it's 4 part pellets to 6 parts of the hydrated lime water mix. let that sit for a while so the water and hydroxide mix could hydrate the pellets, and then came and added in some spawn, roughly again about 10% by weight. That was added into the jar, tapped it down, tried to compress it a little bit, screwed the top on, and it
This guy's going really hard. I mean, like, I can't remember all this. I'm trying to get the general concept. I guess he's got a good mix going here.
The feeding and then the fruiting of those fruit bags, and then also the splitting of those spawn jars. So they'll pop up in clips later on. And if you do want to catch those clips, all you have to do is click on that.
I see what he made a mix, and he made some holes in the right spots.
Now on to what happened with the last batch of fruiting bags I tried to make up. We were splitting a spawn jar that we made previously. Unfortunately, I think that spawn jar was just a little bit too out of date. It was well over 3 months old when we split it and popped it into those bags of sawdust, and yeah, nothing happened. The mycelia didn't take off at all. So what I decided to do was use some of the grain spawn in that same medium, hoping it would still be sterile enough and create some fruiting bags that way. Unfortunately though, that wasn't to be. Some other contamination got in there, and as you can see, the bag turned out very
contamination.
So it's basically just a write-off, and it's going to go in a compost cage I'll be making up in a couple of days down the back. So that was a bit of a lesson learned. Use the spawn jar a lot sooner, don't let it sit so long, and it probably would have helped if I gave it a feed with some wheat bran along the way, just to reinvigorate the mycelia, get it growing a little bit more before I put it down into the sawdust. Now to give you a bit of a quick look at what's going on with the spawn jar.
Let's get into a quick look.
3 days ago, actually 2 days ago. As you can see, the mycelia has already started to reach out and is starting to colonise that sawdust there, so we're really happy with that. There's no green in it whatsoever, unlike the last lot, so yeah, pretty chuffed with that. And here's a bit of a look at the fruiting jar. As you can see, there's a load more mycelia through there compared with the sawdust. I think what it comes down to is the food is just a little bit more available in the recycled paper pellets. It's already been, basically timber that's partially broken down. So probably in about 2 weeks' time, I'm going to crack this open, feed it up with some wheat bran, and then let it set for a little while longer. And then, yeah, pull off these little side tabs here, and hopefully get some nice.
Oh, here we go.
As for the fruiting bags, I can tell you they are well and truly colonised. They've actually turned into a little bit of a log. Loads of mycelia going through the newspaper.
We gotta check out Dwinger's log.
So another 2 or 3 weeks. These guys.
Hold up, here we go. Now I'm trying to get good quality on it. Let's see what kind of quality we're gonna get. It's at 480. God, I hate Facebook so much. You know, 480 is not going to cut it for me. It must, you know what, I bet it's an NVIDIA thing. Because I think he's broadcasting from the NVIDIA thing. And he's been going for 2 hours, though. I guess you kind of get lost and just keep going now with the gaming streams. But I wish this was in 4K, I really do. And that's just another reason why I'm streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Actually, I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. How you can use your restream for multicasting and all of that. And actually, I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to keep all my secrets. Dwinger's going pretty hard, I guess. I'd like to see him. It's just, you can't watch it because it's just, I need to see this on YouTube or something. It's just so low quality because Facebook's just ruining it. But I mean, I guess if you're looking at it on a phone, that's cool. You know? It is what it is. But I also wish he had a video, you know, like a video feed hooked up. See, that would be tight. And like where he can talk and talks through what he's doing. Maybe next time. See what happens.
Brand buildings were simply built on top of the remains of buildings from prior resets.
So we come to the
and really a pretty smart tactic.
So we come to the floor, very important piece of legislation. So we come to the floor.
Is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I rise in support of this legislation to protect
imperative that we get small business.
Yeah, I probably.
New round of
as the testing goes into the.
end is talking about.
I not only rise in support of this legislation, the Enhancement Act. I also would like to rise in support of what we're doing for the...
Madam Speaker, I support this legislation because hospitals and small businesses in our communities need relief.
I mean, it seems like they're all trying, but it's just, I mean, nobody has a plan for how to not touch their face or, not be around other people, you know. Like, there's no way to really do it right. You know, they're not really testing a lot of essential employees that probably all have it. I heard, I mean, you know, it's just, I think most people are going to catch it, and then, you know, we'll get that herd immunity going. Unfortunately, some people are dying, and, you know, we want to prevent as many deaths as possible, but at the end of the day, viruses can be deadly, you know, it's unfortunate. I want to pull up these stats again and kind of take a better look here, because this looks like garbage. Go to 1080 here. There we go. Just in case you can't read that. Now maybe you can. I want to see like the graphs, curves. Usually it kind of goes. Confirmed cases in Canada alone. It's like, there we go. So it is kind of flattening out, it looks like. In China. Oh, yeah, that's what the dude was saying. You can't trust China's numbers. You don't know what's going on in China. Not in the U.S. media, anyway. So, I mean, it really is an information war. You know, it's tough to kind of figure out what's real and what's fiction sometimes.
And there's so many different brands out there, it's hard to say what's available in your neck of the woods. But for you folks in Australia, and I think in America, J031 and Sun are two reliable small system pumps. And I've also had pretty good success with the Resun C line, but I don't know if that range is available anymore. Now with the pump, we also need to think about our hose work and pipe work. Hose work is fine, as long as it's UV stabilized, super grade, cool. And has a fairly smooth bore. You can see ridges on the outside of the hose work here, but it is fairly smooth.
Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to take a quick look at the severe weather through Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Mississippi. As we mentioned a couple days ago about this low-level jet that was going through the northern Gulf of Mexico, possibly bringing severe weather, and it did. Large hail, tornadoes, heavy rains, high winds. We've been seeing a steady pattern of that type of weather throughout the southern states for several days, in fact weeks, with regard to rain. A lot of flooding, ground saturation in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Saw large hail yesterday as big as baseballs, multiple tornadoes once again, as we've been seeing into Mississippi, Alabama, even as far over as North and South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, seen hundreds of tornadoes already this spring, and I think we're going to see a lot of active weather coming summertime when the hurricane season starts. And that's one thing I want to talk about in this video, is the possibility of an early hurricane season, and quite possibly an overachieving hurricane season. And I'll explain why in this video. I'm going to take a quick look at that here in just a moment. But first I want to take a look at a time lapse that was shared with me by my friend Craig from out in New Jersey.
I wonder if they're going to weld that.
That occurred back on Tuesday in New Jersey near Toms River, and they think that it was a tornado that went through the area.
Oh no, they just put
sky that day. And here it is
casing
right here.
inside.
The clouds look very ominous moving through New Jersey.
The plastic lining,
they
rather.
did have a rare tornado touchdown in New Jersey back on the 21st. So thank you, Craig, for the time lapse. I greatly appreciate that. I always like time lapses. In fact, that's not the only one I received. Also got another time lapse out of Texas, sent in by Michael D, Venus, Texas, of the sky just blowing.
Oh man, that's awesome.
This was in Venus on Easter Sunday before the storms cut loose, and we've been seeing storms through Texas and on Easter Sunday before the storms cut loose.
I love a good time lapse.
Storms through Texas and Mississippi for days, and it's going to continue. It looks like, as Tuesday's storm did a lot of damage up in New Jersey. Thank you, Michael. Thanks again, Craig. I really appreciate that. But we're here at windy.com, and what we're looking at are the current sea surface temperatures of the oceans, not only the Pacific but the Atlantic Basin. You can see the Indian Ocean. They're all about the same. They're in the mid to upper 80 range. They're already warm enough to support hurricanes. So as we move closer to summer, the sea surface temperatures are going to get even warmer. Look at there, south of Cuba, 84 degrees. Those temperatures are only going to rise as we're just in mid-April. We've got May, then we've got June is when hurricane season officially starts, and all of these basins are above average. Here at the JapanTimes.co article dated April 19th of 2020 goes on to talk about the warmest oceans on record. You can set off a year of extreme weather. The entire tropical ocean is above average, a forecaster at the U.S. Climate Prediction Center says, and there is a global warming component to that. It is really amazing when you look at all of the tropical oceans and see how warm they are. If Gulf waters stay warm, it could be the fuel that intensifies any storm that comes that way, and that's what we're looking at over here at windy.com. All these dark oranges are only going to get darker as we move into the summer months. That's going to be pure
Oh, look, somebody's live.
for hurricanes. So will they make landfall? We'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of other factors involved in
Wait, they're not doing anything.
Wind shear, weather patterns, not only warm oceans. Yeah, they definitely are required to have hurricanes, but there's a lot of other things involved too. Steering current.
It's funny because you can't see him, but he's kind of going hard over there.
We pulled off onto a back road. I thought to think about what we'd done. Got out, took a leak, lit a smoke. But now
These dudes are just like passed out. They got some Miller Lite. That's some serious bro times right there.
he was stoned out of his head. Well, I
Check 1 2. High range pH ammonia. Oh, that's weird. Could be a lens flare, I guess. A lot of these things are lens flares. RT is like super Fox, like Fox on crack.
Иммунитет. Чем восстановились клетки крови, поэтому корешка не пойдет. Короче, когда прокручиваешь назад, через что она проходила, уже понимаешь, что у нее лейкоз. И, конечно, ты от нее в шоке. Я вам корешку покажу. Да, тихие радости мамы, да? Смотри.
You guys are talking about some permaculture, plants living in synchronicity together, plants that go well together. In your garden, planting them together. Oh, ancient people of Japan. I never thought about that.
Welcome to a video about Japan, the ancient origins of Japan, and the strange mysteries within the timeline of Japan. Now, when most of us think about the architecture in the region, this is what we think of. Very beautiful style, very unique with its flared roof. But if I were to tell you that this was Japan in the 1850s, it would seem out of place. And we can see people in what seems to be traditional Japanese robe, and some more hair and rickshaws, and really the people don't seem to match the architecture. And this architecture is what we see all over the world in this time period. And at a first glance, nobody would believe that this was Japan initially. And very similar with this bridge and the light posts on the bridge don't seem to match. We see railways and something that is similar to building styles found all over the world. Very old, polygonal is found all over the world. I was really amazed when I first saw these. I'd never seen such things in Japan of the structure. And now they've built their modern style on top of these beautiful style, not far, just right below the ocean waters. Now carved with the same precision that we see. This could have been an amazing house with its doorway. Now, people to make such giant blocks, we would have counterparts.
This one though isn't small enough that you could pretty much all tuck it away anywhere, and it'd fit on a small balcony in a small courtyard, or even on a front landing if it's large enough for you. And it pretty much all gives anyone a chance to grow a couple of greens or herbs aquaponically. I mean, you could toss a couple of ornamentals in there if you just wanted to make a nice floral arrangement with a couple of goldfish swimming underneath. Just quickly, the plumbing parts for today's build should be available from most plumbing, irrigation or hardware supply stores. The tools I'm going to use are a rechargeable drill, jigsaw, hacksaw, utility knife, ruler, marker pen, and a few other odds and ends like a little PVC pipe cutter. So this one here was picked up from a local feed store. If you're in a more urban setting, you might want to try online trading groups and sites like Gumtree or Craigslist, as they often have drums and barrels and containers offered on there. The best containers to use for aquaponics are ones that have had foodstuffs or liquids that are easy to clean out. I'm not too worried about this one as it smells pretty fruity and sweet, so it's probably some sort of a drink concentrate. I'll still be giving it another good clean out once the grow bed's been cut off the top. When looking at barrels, if you get a chance, just check out the bungs and make sure they've got a good rubber seal. It just saves you having to seal them later. This one here had a pressure relief valve in it, so I unscrewed it, took out the little valve and siliconed it up with a fish grade silicone. Just to check your aisle at the hardware or plumbing store for a fish grade one suitable for aquarium. To mark out the grow bed itself, I came down from the top roughly around about 19 centimetres or 7.5 inches and just placed a few dots with a permanent marker.
388 to 5, passing under suspension in other protocol. We had a masterful leadership of Richie Neal, managing the general conference, and he disciplined so many of us to keep our remarks to 30 seconds. So I will use 30 seconds to acknowledge the greatness of our leadership of our committee to make this important event possible, and then take 30 seconds to comment on it. Congresswoman Maxine Waters, the chair of the Financial Services Committee, just was remarkable. She brought her depth of knowledge of the financial industry, as well as her deep values about making everyone have access. Lydia Velasquez, the chair of the Small Business Committee, just a champion, one of the first women in Congress to ever serve as a chair of a full committee, and she brought all of that experience, knowledge, judgment, and values to this legislation. It was really remarkable to see the two of them interact, two powerful women in Congress making a tremendous difference. And what was important about it was that she took a giant step in loosening that hard grip of disparity of access to credit in our country. But they made something very special happen to try to have that crumble, and I think that's very important for the American people.
Something I wanted to try today. I'm actually gonna hit record and see if it messes up the stream or not. Seems like it started working. I guess I'll find out later. I'll have to. I haven't even checked, like, YouTube and Facebook and all that. I just have been assuming that it's working. So, anyway, I think I'm gonna jump off here. Seems like this whole approval of more money.
470 today, but all of it in the interest of job retention, and it's first and foremost to address the key issue of health. Testing, contact tracing, the initiatives that are necessary to be the key to open up our economy.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC.
No. ABC will get us on the AI copyright thing. Wonder what microgreens. That sounds interesting.
Today I'm going to be showing you how we grow red acre cabbage from start to finish. So stay tuned for the walkthrough.
All right, let's do it quickly because I don't,
When we say weighted, and then after that we're going to remove this brick and set it aside, and then what we do is we flip the tray, and that will be the next part of the blackout period. But that's it for this part. From here on out we're going to do any updates on anything else that changes, and also show you how each day progresses with the grow. So stay tuned for more of the steps. Okay, so
see how I skipped the first 7 minutes?
Show you what we usually do. So we're going to come over here and pull this off of the shelf real quick, and we're going to move it to our table. We're then going to remove the brick and set it aside. And then we're going to remove this tray and set aside two. But first, as you can see, there's some seeds on it. So let's just try to get those off the best that you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so we'll set that aside. And now what we're going to do is we're going to lightly mist all of the seeds and make sure that they are saturated. And that way it can continue to germinate evenly. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So now I am going to take our tray, put it back on top, take our brick, put this back on top as well. And we are going to take this now and move it back to our shelf. So we will do that twice a day. So it means later tonight we're gonna come back out, double check it, make sure that it's still saturated. And if it needs more water, we'll give it a light mist and we'll do that exact same process and put it back on the shelf. So that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, so today is the morning of day 2 and we are going to pull out this red acre cabbage. We're gonna bring it back to our table like we did yesterday. We're gonna remove this brick carefully. And then we're going to take off the top tray. Make sure there's no seeds on it. This time's actually a lot better than it was yesterday. And as you can tell, there's germination starting to happen. And what we're going to do now is the exact same thing that we did yesterday. So right now this has not rooted at all, so we shouldn't have to give it any water down here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take our misting bottle and give it a good mist. Okay. And that should be pretty good.
For some reason the subtitles are in Japanese or something right now.
Put the tray back.
So next day. Oh, and then she's getting those.
So right away I can tell it's looking really great, but personally I want this to stretch a little bit more because I know that with red acre cabbage, once you take it out of the blackout dome, it tends to kind of just stay where it's do another day of blackout. Pull this over to our table and we checked it to see how the soil medium's looking. As I can tell, there's some dry spots, especially near the back. So we're going to be giving it a 1.5 cups of our ocean solution water mixture. And that is it for today.
So she's just got it underneath the tray. It's pretty smart.
So everything looks really good. I'm not seeing any of the seed molding or anything like that. Everything looks really good looking product. Can't wait to use this.
Okay, you can just eat that. That's interesting.
That's pretty good. Alright, let's do it.
I mean, it's just a tray that you grow it in a little tray with next to your other trays. I like it. Just learning more and more. I just can't stop thinking about hydroponic, aquaponic, growing of food. I think it's really important for everyone to try it. If you can, if you have the time. I'm gonna get started soon once I pay a couple things off. The truth about Tesla's V3 solar roof.
Our homes need energy. Whether it's cooking breakfast in the morning, checking email, or now even driving across the country.
Well, I am.
Most of our lives depend on electricity. And solar is key to making sure our future stays bright. So when Tesla reaches out and asks you if you want to take part in an exclusive first look at one of their new products, I crossed my fingers hoping I was going to be getting behind the wheel of Cybertruck. When they tell you it's part of their solar line, it's their new solar glass roof, I still got kind of equally excited. Nice roof. I think I was expecting it to look like solar panels all across the roof, but
around $3.44, which is up slightly from when I got my solar. Is it more akin to one of the higher end
in their house? The solar glass was that next step. So I think anybody who needs a new roof, but also lives in a state where you have more sunny months than rain or snow, I think the solar glass makes a ton of sense. If you're paying for a new roof anyway, that's expensive. So for a little bit more, if you want to step up.
See how I skipped to minute 7 again? I swear it's like this weird phenomenon going on in YouTube right now. You might as well just skip, you know, you want to really find out what the video is about, just skip to minute 7.
You can scale them up, just have one.
Let's test this theory. Let's see another video. Okay, this is a pretty cool vehicle. Hold up. Minute 7. Bam. Alright, yeah, now we're talking generators.
Which provide the gas for both cooking and soldering in the workshop. We also have a 2-cylinder air compressor with 200 liters of air reservoir mounted in the frame. Here we have a very simple petrol-driven generator with 14 kilowatts power, which is good for welding and to run all the other equipment.
Interesting.
On the opposite side, we have two big fuel tanks. One is for petrol, 400 liters, and one is for storage.
Yep, alright, let's try skipping to minute 7 again, because this is really interesting. How to switch from Premiere Pro to DaVinci. Alright, yeah, let's skip to minute 7. Bam.
Let's launch it for the first time.
Alright, let's launch it for the first time. See what I mean? Bam, alright, hold on. Let's try again.
This is what you're going to see when you first launch DaVinci Resolve. And the thing that you need to know is
alright, hold on. This is getting freaky. Let's check again. and see what happens. Technical tour of the solar yacht. Let's see what happens at minute 7.
There's no nautical joke or some crusty. They do not have enough fuel anyway to go across the liner. So that would be the same. It would be a slow going. Average speed will be below 5 knots. So you have to like going slow.
The Silent 55 comes in 3 configurations. The standard cruiser with 2 30-kilowatt motors, all electric. The e-power with 2
They're
250
just now
kilowatt-
describing it. The motor. Okay, hold on. That's close. Let's try another one. We gotta scroll down. I've been kind of stuck on the same topics for a minute. Let me see here. It's weird. You don't want YouTube to, like, I almost wish I could get a little more diversity in my YouTube feed. Just a little bit. How this guy makes mesmerizing fluid sculptures. Let's skip to minute 7.
As well as through the center.
In his 2016 piece, Killing Time, Eric says he built his strongest electromagnet yet.
I'm guessing that magnet attached properly could probably pick up like 1,000 pounds, maybe a small
Yeah,
car.
it's kind of exciting because I'm pretty sure that was like a changing point in the video.
And my father, you know,
It's like, here's his best
very
one.
much a builder as well
Minute
as
7.
So I was helping out my father, like physically build.
All right,
stuff.
let's try again. You know, I'm not that superstitious. I'm just trying to notice patterns in human behavior on YouTube. It's not a big deal. Ooh, making ginger. Yeah, I actually watched that already. Hold on, let's skip ahead. Ooh. Tesla's secret upcoming product. Let's see if they tell us what it is at minute 7. Ah, that's the very end. Nah, that didn't work out. Oh wow, Boris Johnson. You know what? I can't play that. That's copyright. Big no-no. All right. All right. What are Apple glasses? That's interesting. Let's go to minute 7.
Or your fingerprints. It features auto-save and auto-fill, so that you don't have to copy and paste your password every single time, and it also features a password generator, which creates secure and complex passwords for you automatically. It works on iOS, Android, macOS, Windows, Linux, with dedicated app supports for those systems, as well as extensions in browsers such as Chrome, Firefox, Opera, and Edge, which means that yes, you can even use NordPass on any device that supports these browsers.
He's getting right into the info there.
NordPass offers you 24/7 customer support, 30-day money-back guarantee.
Wait, is that a plug right there? I
so
think he's plugging.
Get a 60% discount at NordPass.com/ZoneOfTech.
Okay, well he put his.
And by doing so, you're also supporting the channel. These are also
He put his plug at 7 minutes. Maybe that guy's got his. Maybe I should subscribe to that guy. First of all, glasses, glasses that those things are so cool. Hold on, let's subscribe. Zone of Tech. There's something about that guy. Reported to the FAA again. No. All right, let's get to minute 7.
Offended by this. And it wasn't for the reason I expected. I thought people would have maybe assumed it was current day and I was wasting toilet paper, but nobody cared about that. A couple people were very concerned about me littering and said that I needed to put disclaimers that people need to pick up their trash. But my response to that was this was a clip from a full-length video, and if you watch the full-length video, I picked up every scrap of toilet paper. The other thing that people started to get upset about was...
Okay, so he picked it up. Good for him. He littered, but then he cleaned it up. He was making a video. He's working here. Like, give the guy a break. Yeah? Coins versus bars. All right.
In this episode of Inside the Vault, we're going to be talking about the differences between coins and bars.
Well, we're going to
So
skip
let's
to
get over
minute
what
7.
A lot of us in the industry use. And the cost per ounce, for example, for this 1 ounce gold coin above that spot price is considered the premium. So the difference between the spot price and the actual total cost of the product, the difference is the premium. So it's important that you understand that when you're going and buying this stuff. And then you can compare the premium for different products and different sizes. For gold against silver, for coins against bars.
Straight to the point at minute 7.
This 1 ounce gold coin, the premium over the spot price today.
What is it? Hold on. Where? This is a new trick. This is my new favorite trick. All right, wait. Let's find out what this guy is talking about. Oh, he's not even here. Let's actually watch this though. This guy's got to be interesting.
X plus y equal to z. Okay, can you give me some solution for this? 1 plus 2 equal to 3. Great. Got a chocolate. It was an easy chocolate. Okay, any more solutions? No chocolates now. 2 plus 2, 4. You have millions and zillions of solutions, right? Okay, so let's make it a little complicated. X squared plus y squared equal to z squared. Huh? 3, 4, 5. Okay, you also get a chocolate. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 30, 40, 50 would be, or even 6, 8, 10. You just multiply. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 5, 12, 13, whatever. So many solutions are there. What is this, by the way? The Pythagoras theorem, which states What does it state? Where? In a right angle triangle. Very important. People forget that. Okay. So what it says is, given a right angle triangle, and if these are the sides, then x squared is equal to x squared plus y
I
squared.
think we had a glitch here.
Okay. In a right angle triangle, if the three sides are x, y, and z, x squared plus y squared is z squared. This is what Pythagoras theorem states. And we say, yeah, a big deal. You know, I mean, I know it, right? But it is not immediately obvious. See, if you look at the triangle, can you say, of course, x squared plus y squared is z squared? You can say, right? Especially if you have another triangle sitting next to it, like that.
But you know what? I don't really know what this guy's getting at here. It seems like he's going over basic geometry. Let's see what.
That if he were to bring it forward, he would be killed a lot.
Dr. Greer.
Well, these technologies would get us off of oil, gas, nuclear power, no more Fukushima.
Okay, so he's going through his normal spiel. Let's go to minute 7.
Economic stability point of view, this is their work. Big bankers. Now, 100 years ago or 90 years ago to today, nothing's really changed in terms of the geopolitical, financial, macroeconomic exigencies. And that's the huge problem. Is there a technical challenge? Yes. And we'll get into how we can mount a sort of effort together to come up with a modern day version of what Tesla has. But the geopolitical, macroeconomic policy issue is the big problem. And it isn't just because there are a few bankers and kleptocrats that are misanthropic.
Season 2 Mandalorian.
It's because there are a lot of stakeholders who don't want to have to do with change. Even if you don't accept that in your paradigm, the inhumanity of keeping these sciences and technologies away from the public and the poverty that it engenders. Because I was talking to an industrialist from India, and he was telling me it would take trillions of dollars to properly electrify the subcontinent so that people have the energy they need using today's conventional systems, even solar, even wind, even coal. And, you know, we're facing a situation now that every year or two there's 1,000 new coal-fired burning power plants being put online in India, China, and elsewhere, mostly without any scrubbers. So in the Pacific Northwest and other places, you have a huge amount of the pollution that's in the West Coast is coming from Asia. There's no scrubbers in those coal. And you look at the air in Beijing, Shanghai, and other cities, it's not breathable. Then you go to the oceans, where you have the Fukushima reactor releasing all this radioactive material, and huge parts of the oceans, because there's all the CO2 going into the oceans, are beginning to die because of the acidity and alkaline levels being upset. So there are all these big macro geophysical effects while we're trying to maintain the current macroeconomic order. Big problem, huge mistake. But who's going to fix it? This is really the crux of the problem. And many people have asked me, given the folks I've met with over the years, why doesn't someone do that? But see, everyone says that. My wife and I this week were just up in New York meeting with the head of the foundation. And the question came up frequently with people there, all of whom were incredibly wealthy. Well, why doesn't Bill Gates do it? Or why doesn't the president? It's always, why doesn't someone else? Of course, if you go to the president, he'll say, no way, Jose. And if you go to billionaire X and billionaire Y and billionaire Z, many of whom I've met with, they'll go, you know, one of them once said to me, we all want to be first to be second. Great expression. You hear it a lot in business when it's a very controversial science. No one wants to be the first to stick their neck out. So this becomes then a leadership issue, which is what I tried to provide some clarity to in my own humble way, being not a significantly wealthy or powerful person at all, but knowing what I know, try to share it with the public and try to create a momentum towards disclosure, not only of the fact that we're not alone in the universe, but that the secret behind these UFO propulsion systems and energy systems would give us an entirely new planet. Beautiful. But there are stakeholders who are very, very powerful who aren't happy about that.
He's been talking about that for a long time, you know. Wow, there's a lot of classified technology that can completely revolutionize the energy and financial system of the world. And we have yet to put it out there and start implementing it for our society. What is this?
When I heard about the bubble, I was just amazed.
Let's go to minute 7.
Communication. I thought the bubble and him were gone. I thought he was in the bottom of the ocean, and that's it.
I was watching the line move up on the GPS tracker, and then all of a sudden I saw it turn to the right, and I knew something was up.
The final time we were called in by a concerned mariner, the patrol boat came up to the bubble.
Hey, sir, how you doing? I'm very great. Good. Hey, sir, your voyage has been terminated by the U.S. Coast Guard. It's manifestly unsafe.
Make me crazy. I've been 5 years, like, do this thing there, stop me. Every time they save my life. I don't need it. Save my life. I don't need it.
We tried to have a conversation with him, tried to get him to embark the boat.
I have a 5-6 light. I have 2 light jackets. I have a 2 GPS. I have a laptop, watch movie.
Based on the captain report order
This is unsafe for you.
and his physical condition, we determined it was unsafe for him to continue.
Sir, we know how this is going to end.
So we removed him from the bubble and sank the bubble as a hazard of navigation.
The shot, they sink my mind. No more bubble I have.
They just shot it down into the ocean. He had all his backpack supplies, GPS tracker, a lot of the things that he had been working on.
That was like over $120,000 of his life that he had put into that bubble. And it all just got stolen in
They
the
just-
middle of the ocean.
The Coast Guard response
I mean,
cost the taxpayers approximately $144,000.
What?
The fact that he was putting himself at risk, the people that were going to have to respond to his attempt, just shows very poor judgment.
him being from Iran and not knowing really what he went through, and you know that he was imprisoned and he was tortured in jail, and him being that free thinker is what put him in jail. And you know, thank God Reza came to America. But yeah, I always thought, okay, I'm free to do whatever I want.
free him.
He never expected that they would not let him do what he wants to do. This is the land of the free. That's why he came. Running is just Reza runs. He is exactly like Forrest Gump.
He should have.
Understand Forrest Gump. People don't understand Reza.
What?
But look at Forrest Gump. Everybody loved that movie.
I can't believe they
I think
shut him
Reza
down.
will get to do his bubble dream. I love him.
What? Man, that's messed up. Somebody should try this again. Somebody's got to go find this guy. I want to be the second guy to find him.
To 1,000 feet a minute and a speed of 60 miles per hour. So if you can imagine walking out your front door and being in the world of jet heads like modern day knights on their geeky steeds. Appearance. Arca board looks like a concrete slab. Arca Corporation deals with development and production of space rockets. So the basis for
that's
creating Flyboard
cool.
is the energy created by
That's
the motors.
super dope.
The flare of the device provides 36 electric motors with a total power of 272 horsepower. These start the appropriate number of channeled fans. As a result, Arca board can raise a passenger up to 242 pounds and fly about 1.2 miles at speeds of up to 12.4 miles per hour. The resources of lithium batteries suffice a maximum of 6 minutes, and then the batteries need to be reloaded for 6 hours. Omni Hoverboard. This hoverboard consists of 8 propellers, which lift it into the air. The device is made out of carbon fiber. Power engines, which produce a total power of about 40 horsepower, are carried out through 12 batteries. But unfortunately, this hoverboard can be in the air no longer than a minute and a half. During the first test run, it overcame a distance of 3,000 feet.
How does it feel at the end of a day like that? Do you like your job after an evening like that?
I love my job, but I hate talking to people like you.
Thanks.
No, I mean, I love it right now because I said earlier on, you're the last person I'm talking to, so you probably get the best interview, darling. You know.
I mean, the whole thing like this afternoon when you have to talk to so many journalists. What goes
Well, it's part of my job, so I have to do it. We don't do it that often, so it's like this is the first kind of press conference we've had for a long while, 3, 4, 5 years maybe. So I don't mind it. If I have to do this every day, I get it.
Do you sometimes have the feeling that, I mean, obviously people are asking the same questions all the time, that it's,
They always
the
do.
music is your stage,
They always do.
not the
No, I think it's more than music. You know, we're personality, so you talk about more than music. I mean, if all you talked about was music, depending on if you're a music paper, then you talk about music. But there's more to us than just writing songs. I mean, we do other things, and we have characters, and depends what you talk about. So I don't mind it. No. And of course people ask the same questions, because some of the questions are current, and they want to know about the same things. So ask me about my solo album then, huh?
Yeah, what about your solo album?
Oh, it's great.
Of course it is. Does it sound different?
Yes, it sounds. Hopefully, it's not finished yet. See, so I don't know how it's going to come out. But at the moment, I've worked on it for about 2 months, 2 or 3 months, and I was supposed to finish it before the Queen tour, but I need a bit more time. And it's sounding good. It's nice to actually play with different people, because I've always played with Queen all the time, and so I had there's a drummer a session drummer from.
New tour.
It's me, my costume. No, it's just
skipping to minute 7.
It's new. I mean, the one element that I like on this tour is that we're actually going to go all the way back and do songs from all the old albums as well, because so that I think anybody coming to see Queen this time is going to get a little piece of all the albums. So I mean, there are times where somebody comes to a show and say, oh, they didn't do anything from this album or whatever. Of course, we can't do all the songs from 13 albums. We'll be there for 2 days. But I think what we're doing is going to take, even if it's one song from one album or 2 from each, we're not going to leave any album out. So I think that to me is fun, because we've been practicing some of the early stuff. I mean, we were practicing Keep Yourself Alive and Liars from the first album, and it made me think, that about 13 years ago we were doing this.
Alright, John, that's a
At that time I had long
dip.
hair, black fingernails and makeup and everything, kind of thing that Boy George is doing right now. And to think that I'll sort of still be singing those songs, it sort of makes me sound old, doesn't it?